Welcome back, everyone, one last time for the finale of Leagues Leaks Daily, where we've been counting down all of the reveals and teasers, and we're finally at the end. This was supposed to be day 14, but they just decided to give it to us early. So I'm back one more time, and today is a very, very big one. If you thought your plans were set in stone, it turns out the game's been rigged from the start. Not only are we going to be getting a new 7th relic tier, but we're also going to be getting an 8th relic tier. This means even more incredibly difficult decisions for you to make, so just get ready for this next part, because not only have they announced 8 relic tiers, but they've actually shown us what those relic tiers are going to look like and what kind of decisions you're going to have to make in Leagues 4. And so here it is, the entire list, all 22 relics that we're going to be getting for Leagues 4, as well as what order they're going to be coming in, what tier they're going to be up against, and most importantly, what kind of competition every single relic is going to have. And I apologize that this is kind of cropped all over the place. I just tried to find some place where I could fit myself because there's just so much to cover. I could barely get it all on one screen. And you can already see there are going to be some very, very tough decisions that you can make, some real heartbreakers in this one, and just good luck deciding on what you're going to be doing for your Leagues 4 journey. And while we have covered most of these relics, if there's anything new announced, I'll just quickly be going over that. But for the full list of like all the information of every single relic, that's going to all come out like 2 hours before Leagues 4 comes out. So I'm not going to go into in-depth into every single relic. And if you are curious about any of these relics mentioned, I've covered most of them in the previous Daily Leaks videos, so just go back there and you can kind of reference what I'm talking about. Tier 1, you're going to be choosing between Endless Harvest, Production Prodigy, and the Trickster Relic. All of these are amazing picks, and I really don't think you can go wrong here. Now, in Tier 2, we've already had the Globetrotter Relic announced, and I know a lot of people were expecting Fairy's Flight to come back. They have also announced that Fairy's Flight, not only will you be getting teleports to every Fairy Ring and every Spirit Tree, but you will also be getting unlimited teleports to every Leprechaun in the game as well, as long as it's in a region that you already have. And this is an insane buff to Fairy Flight. I mean, I think it's really, really strong now. Definitely a good contender. They also gave us a little bit more information about Globetrotter. Basically, it's going to be a complete portal nexus in your house, as well as a complete jewelry box. So all of the teleports you could get between those two items, like as if you had like a max player-owned house, all of that will come from one item as well. And I just love this because you're going to get some really powerful teleports, and you're probably still going to be in like Mistalin and Karumja, still doing all those Lumbridge tasks, and now you're going to have the option of picking some really powerful teleports kind of early. I can't wait to use Fairy Flight to like move around some of the fairy rings and try to speed up my route in that first couple of hours. Tier 3 is a tough one. We're going to be choosing between Banker's Note as well as Fire Sale. And it's pretty funny looking back just how wrong some of my predictions were because, yeah, this is such a tough choice. I personally think I'm probably going to have to sit with this decision more than just about anything because I really see the value of both of these relics. They're both really, really powerful, and they both kind of break the rules of the game in a way that I'm just, I wish I could have both, but that's the beauty of Leagues is you have to make those tough decisions and you have to stick with what your gut says is the right path forward. Now, they did say that it's very likely you're going to be getting those first 3 relics pretty fast in the early game, so don't worry, it's not like you're just going to be sitting with 1 or 2 relics for quite a while. And this also means that while combat relics are going to be coming in Tier 4, we might be getting these earlier than we expected. Of course, Tier 4 is our combat relics, so you got ranged, melee, and magic. And honestly, this is probably the most important decision you're going to make because it really shapes what kind of regions you want to go for, what kind of gear you want to get. And basically, once you pick a combat style, you kind of want to use it all the time. So I hope you found your combat style by now, although I don't blame you if you're still completely on the fence and have no clue what you want to do. Okay, Tier 5. All 3 of these relics, we have no idea what they do. We can only really guess at them. We've got Treasure Seeker, which I bet is going to be like a Clue Scroll relic. Bloodthirsty, which I think is going to be something to do with Slayer. And then Infernal Gathering, which I'm pretty sure is just going to act as infernal tools for all your gathering skills. All 3 of these are just fantastic utility options. And in the past, you had to choose between the Slayer and the Clue Scroll relic. So I think adding Infernal Gathering here is just, it spices it up a little bit, just makes it that much harder. Now, Tier 6, we've got some ones that will definitely change how you play the game. Ruinous Powers was just announced yesterday, and this gives you a whole new prayer book to use, which can really make you completely switch what regions you even want to go. Maybe you're going melee and you don't really want to go Candor anymore, because you're going to have access to Decimate, which is an even stronger version of Piety. And while we don't have all the info for Equilibrium or Farmer's Fortune, Just based off previous leagues, I'm sure that Equilibrium will have something to do with your total skill level, and Farmer's Fortune, I'm just gonna guess, has something to do with farming. Okay, moving on to tier 6, we got some big combat relics here. Weapon Master, of course, has been announced already. This is the special attack relic, and going up against it is gonna be Soul Stealer and Berserker, which we have no idea what these are. However, my guess is gonna be that Soul Stealer is like a life steal relic that lets you steal health, maybe even steal prayer from enemies based on how much damage you do. And then Berserker is going to make you do more damage the lower health that you have. You're going to have this wonderful balance of maybe you want to drain your enemy's life and always stay nice and healthy, or you can risk it all, take yourself down to low health, and really just start to pump the numbers out. And of course, that's up against Weapon Master, which should never be discounted. Special attacks are incredibly strong in leagues. And finally, Tier 8, guys. We are getting Tier 8. And we've actually seen all of these relics announced, so this is going to be a very tough decision, but don't worry, you're going to have your entire league's journey to start thinking about what you even want to do once you get to Tier 8. Just this morning, we had Executioner announced, which will execute enemies at less than 20% health. And you can use this to skip like the entire last phase of raid bosses, which is insane. If you're planning on doing groups, Executioner is like a must pick. In addition, you'll have Undying Retribution. This is the cheat death relic that's going to save you from the brink of death and also do a crazy amount of damage. And of course, Guardian. This is just some raw DPS to add to your build and just like an all-around great pick. Okay, and here's the tough part. I think I'm just going to go ahead and say what I'm currently leaning towards, although honestly, this might change pretty much every single hour leading up to leagues while I rethink about this and, keep looking at my options. First up, I think I'm going to go ahead and pick Endless Harvest. I just think this relic is so good, and honestly, I'm probably going to need the time to just like AFK fish while I like edit videos throughout leagues. But really, I think the Trickster relic is also insanely powerful, and I think there's going to be a part of me that's going to regret not going Trickster. Next up, I want to go for Fairy Flight. I'm planning on unlocking Kandarin, and I think all of the fairy rings, the spirit trees, and all of the tool leprechauns that I'll have access to is just going to make my early game like insanely strong. I'll have so many teleports to all the different farming patches, all the different spirit trees, and I'm definitely going to have to spend some time memorizing all of the fairy rings because there's so many that I'm going to have to learn with this relic. Okay, and tier 3, this is a hard one for me, but I'm kind of leaning towards Fire Sale. Banker's Note is just fantastic, but because I'm already going to be going for Endless Harvest, and because Last Recall is going to help me get all of that banking stuff done anyways, I just feel like the early game power of Fire Sale is going to be so strong. Okay, never mind. I actually changed my mind. I think I'm going to go Banker's Note. I can't pick. Oh my god. Listen, I love Fire Sale. I just don't think I have any of like the crazy strong shops in my region that are just going to be like super broken. Okay, I just changed my mind again. I actually don't know. I'm 50-50 on this one, guys. Don't ask me about this. Next up, I'm going to go for Superior Sorcerer. I've been wanting to go a mage build with the Desert and Kandarin so I can get Tumakin Shadow and really just start pumping a ton of damage. So yeah, I think Kandarin, Desert, and Ascarnia Mage is going to be my path. And I just can't wait to play around with the Shadow. I'm so excited to do some Tombs of Amascut. Okay, and in the 5th tier, I think I want to go for Infernal Gathering. This is really going to capitalize on Endless Harvest. I definitely want to see what all of these relics do, so I'm not 100% sure. But I think that because I'm going Endless Harvest, getting Infernal Gathering and then also getting Cooking, Fire Making, and Smithing done along with those skills, it's just going to help out so much more and kind of get more value from Endless Harvest. And for tier 6, I think I'm just going to choose the farming one. Ruinous Powers is great, but I don't really need the Mage Prayer that much, so I think just having some way of getting my farming up is going to be more beneficial in the long run. Although, depending on what it ends up being, Equilibrium is also really high on my picks, because that looks like a really fun relic to play around with. In tier 7, and again, these are all guesses, but in tier 7, I think I want to go with Soul Stealer. I love the playstyle of having a lot of lifesteal and draining health from your enemies. And with the mage build, it's going to feel like I'm like a warlock, just like draining life. So I'm really excited to just like mess around with lifesteal. I think it just makes things super chill. And although Weapon Master is probably the strongest relic here, I just think lifesteal's super fun. So that's probably what I'm going to go with. And finally, Executioner. Guardian is great. Cheat Death is also great. But man, when it comes to that last phase of Wardens with all the lightning and stuff like that, I just want to throw the axe and just finish the job. In addition, I really want to do a lot of group content, so I think just having somebody with the Executioner axe is just going to help a lot. And this is just going to guarantee that I'm going to have that execute damage and really just help speed things up with the group. But again, everything could change, and I'm basing this off of like no information. This is literally just like speculation and guesses. Okay, so I'm done. Now it's your turn. I know it's going to be hard, but let me know what you're going to be choosing, what path you're going to be taking, and what relics you're going to be dropping this League season. We're just counting down the hours now until Leagues 4 actually comes out. So good luck with your last minute plans, last minute changes. Don't forget that those later tiers, you're still going to have time even when you play. It's not like you have to make that decision day one. So there's a very good chance I changed my mind, not tonight, but like day 3, I'm going to still be thinking about, do I want the Guardian or do I want Executioner? Finally, I just wanted to say what an absolute honor it's been to come out with these videos every single day. And really, it's always been seeing comments from you guys, like how excited you are to see the news. And that's really been like the biggest motivation for me to keep with the series, to stay consistent with it, and do my best to provide as much information in a short amount of time every single day to you as possible. Hopefully turn some plans on their heads every single day. And otherwise, just enjoy the pre-hype journey, because honestly, it's one of the best parts about Leagues. And I really do thank you for letting me be a part of that. There's a lot more I could say about this. I wish I could just talk about these relics all day, but I think I'm just going to wait until like the full announcement, basically tomorrow morning. Try to get some sleep because it's going to be a really, really exciting day. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in Leagues 4.